Hi, this is Priest Holmes, and I'm here in Marco Island for the annual Players Convention. Pretty excited about the information that's going across the table today and having an enjoyable time specifically for our meeting that we just wrapped up, and definitely going to have a lot of information to pass on to our chapters in our local communities.
Okay. Priest, what are some of the highlights from the convention, some of the conversations you've had with guys?
Well, some of the highlights, of course, is the fact that we've decertified as a union. Now being an association, there's a number of details and information that we've been speaking about. Number one, I believe, is following the executive committee, which is led by, of course, Drew Brees and many other active players. And for that information alone to pass back to our communities there with our local chapters.
Priest, as a recent former player, what advice do you give the guys currently in the league regarding the lockout?
Well, right now, regarding the lockout, it's one team, and it's believe in staying together and to give us an opportunity to believe in one thing, and that is financial transparency. That's one of the key topics that our executive team has been mentioning to the NFL owners, and as a former player, we definitely stand behind that.
There's a lot of these questions.
Priest, I'm going to take a few.
Okay. Thank you for your time. You were a great player. Do you have any idea how many fantasy football games you won for me?
That I do not. But one interesting bit of information, I met in Las Vegas a number of years ago. After the 2003 season, I met two individuals that won over $200,000 through fantasy football. And so I know that particular game and that particular way of having fun with friends and family members, fantasy football definitely is something that really put my career on the map and made my name a household name.
What are one or two of your highlights from your playing days?
Well, I would have to say in Baltimore. My first year playing in Baltimore was my second year when I had an opportunity by one of the oldest coaches in the game, Ted Marchibroda, gave me an opportunity to start after 4 games. And in that particular game, it was something that was really unexpected, but I knew it the entire time that I had been working very hard. I rushed for 178 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that was my first start in the NFL.
Have you run into any of your former teammates there at the convention? If not, who do you talk to from your playing days?
Absolutely. Well, there was one in particular that's always stood out very closely to me while I played in Kansas City for 7 years. That was my fullback, Tony Richardson. He's a part of the executive committee. Had a chance to meet with him, talk with him. One of the few things that have changed over the last few years is that since our meeting in Hawaii as of last year, we now have a joint meeting with our actual active players. So now the former players and the active players, they have a day in which we're able to eat breakfast together, talk about some of the issues, and then once they've wrapped up from their week-long meetings, we then begin our meetings, which we're being held now. Thank you.
Can I just close out with one more? Okay. Which players did you look up to, and which players do you like to watch now?
Well, one of the players that I looked up to growing up in San Antonio, Texas, of course, was Tony Dorsett with the Dallas Cowboys. One that I watched every Sunday in the living room. And some of the players, of course, that are doing some great things on the field now, there's a number of them. And one of the ones that I'm mentoring and having a chance to work with is Arian Foster, the running back for the Texans. He led the league in rushing as a free agent, so there's similar situations that we had as far as backgrounds, as far as coming into the league as a free agent and then setting that mark as leading the league in rushing.
You have a closing message, maybe thank you to the fans?
Absolutely.
Something about, maybe hopefully there's football.
Well, in terms of football, that's something that goes undetermined. There has to be a settlement between the NFL owners and our active committee members. And one of the things also is always important is to have fans. And again, coming from Marco Island, on behalf of all the former players, Priest Holmes, myself, definitely want to say thank you for everything that you've done to create the fanfare. And then especially to my fans there, of course, in Kansas City, thank you for all the years of your support.